The Classic Rock Show is about to hit the road, and you can see them here in Liverpool at the Philharmonic Hall, Friday, 7th of February. And to tell us more about it, we've got on the line right now Damian Darlington. Damian's the lead singer and musical director of the Classic Rock Show. So, Damian, a very good morning to you.
Good morning.
And you're about to hit the road, I think, quite soon, within a couple of weeks. Is it a few weeks, the 1st of February?
Yes, that's the first date. Up in the northeast in Gateshead, that's where we start off the tour.
Right, and for our listeners, tell us a little about, because, I mean, you've been critically acclaimed, the success of the last tour, the UK tour, and immense popularity of classic rock music. You've got some very strong followers, and it seems to get bigger and better each time you tour. How did it all begin?
It started just over 3 years ago. We're on our third UK tour this time around. Myself and a lot of the other musicians at the Classic Rock Show had been already been playing in the Australian Pink Floyd show, and then we moved on to Brit Floyd. So we sort of had quite a lot of experience of playing together and playing in the sort of area of classic rock music. And we thought, well, why not take our sort of skills and apply them to a bigger range of music? From all sorts of artists from the classic rock era. Not just Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
So we play music as diverse as Led Zeppelin, The Who, and then from some of the American bands like the Doobie Brothers and Boston and Lynyrd Skynyrd, a whole raft of classic rock music from the 70s and 80s. Right,
and I mean, each time you go on tour, I would imagine each time the audience that are coming along, audience that are discovering some of the artists for the first time and some of the music that you've got up there on stage.
Yes, certainly. It's not just people of a certain generation, who were around when these artists were releasing these albums for the first time, who were coming along to the concert. There are definitely a lot of young people coming along to the shows as well. And there's a wealth of music out there for them, perhaps for them to discover that they might not be familiar with. So definitely that's the case.
What about, as I was saying, your lead singer, Damian, musical director? What is it about touring? I mean, when you're putting such a big production together, and as you say, you're playing, music from Led Zeppelin, the Eagles, Dire Straits, how difficult is it then to really recreate the sound that you're wanting to get over on stage?
It's always a challenge, especially even more so when you're encompassing such a wide range of artists such as this. I mean, if you sort of think about all the different sorts of voices, lead singing voices that were involved in some of these artists. I do a little bit of the lead singing, but we also have two other guys at the front of the band so we really can sort of cover the voices such as from Led Zeppelin, AC/DC, but also from the Eagles, more sort of all the harmony vocals that are going on there, and things like A Bat Out of Hell, from Meat Loaf, and also the track you just played, Comfortably Numb, which is actually in the set.
Is that right?
So, it's all in there, and it's a challenge to recreate such a wide range of sounds, but I hope we rise to the challenge, and we have a lot of fun doing it as well.
Yeah, and who are the other guys in the band then?
As I mentioned earlier, there's quite a few of the musicians who play in Brit Floyd, if people are familiar with that group. Plus there's a few other the guys, as I mentioned, there's two singers, there's people who have a lot of experience with playing in like the Queen We Will Rock You show. Our drummer spent many years playing with John Martin, for example, so there's a lot of musical experience there on stage.
Right. And what about your own background, Damian? How did you get into music? Are you from a very musical family?
Yes, I have a lot of brothers and sisters who are also musicians. There's 5 of us all together in the family who are musicians. So it was always inevitable that I sort of follow in my older brothers and sisters' footsteps and made a career out of playing music.
Yeah, and the influences as you were growing up. What was the kind of music that you enjoyed, or some of the groups, etc.?
Well, I was sort of listening to the Eagles and Pink Floyd, from a very early age, so I was sort of pretty much steeped in this sort of area of music right from when I first started learning how to play the guitar, so I was always a big fan of these bands, and some of the more prog rock side of things like Rush and Yes and Genesis as well. But I think my first vinyl album I bought was Eagles Live. So. And we play Hotel California and Life in the Fast Lane, which are in the set, which are both on that album.
Right, and is acoustic guitar one of your favourite instruments? What instruments do you play?
In the Classic Rock Show, I get to play all sorts of different acoustic instruments. Whether it's steel string, 12-string. Some mandolin, but I also play electric guitar and bass guitar and do some of the singing. So there's a bit of a variety of musical talents being brought to bear there.
Yeah, and I mean you've played some brilliant venues around the world. There's certainly some great theatres and other places across the world that you've played. Is there any particular favourite of any venue that you've always thought, wow, that was the one?
I think in the UK, I'd have to say the Albert Hall. I've been lucky enough to play there for probably about a dozen times now, and it's always exciting to do so. The most recent occasion was with Brit Floyd in November. I was there, but I've also had the amazing opportunity to play in some venues such as Red Rocks. In the USA, which is in Denver in Colorado, where of course U2 did a very iconic concert there in the 80s, where they did the Under a Blood Red Sky album, and that's an amazing sort of outdoor natural amphitheatre in the Rocky Mountains. So that's an incredible place to get to play. Right.
What about? Have you been to the Philharmonic Hall in Liverpool before?
I have. Quite a few times. We played there on our last Classic Rock Show tour last January, so it'll be wonderful to return there again.
Yeah, beautiful place. I would imagine it's a very lively evening over there once you're on stage.
Definitely. I mean, it's always a wonderful crowd to play to in the Liverpool area, whether it's with the Classic Rock Show or with Brit Floyd. So we always look forward to going along and having a fun night playing for the guys there.
Yeah, and it's 2.5 hours of classic rock's best moments. So for anybody who wants to get along there, be a brilliant night. And what's the feeling then, just prior to a tour? I mean, you're about to start touring, as you said, Gateshead. You're in Birmingham, Cardiff, Plymouth, Leicester, London. What's the feel? And then Paris. So you're over. What's the feeling prior to the tour?
Well, it's one of excitement, because we always look forward to getting the chance to get our teeth into this music once again. It's definitely sort of a mounting sense of excitement, I would say.
Brilliant. Well, can I thank you for taking time out to talk to us today? And I'm sure we'll have lots of people from the Preston FM area travelling over there to Liverpool to see you on February the 14th. Friday the 7th it is, isn't it? Friday the 7th of February. Sure, we'll have lots of listeners who are going over there to see you on that evening. And the things they can expect is going to be the 2 hours plus of exciting music.
Definitely, they're going to get to hear all those classic rock anthems, and then can sing along to and dance in the aisles if they so desire. So and there'll be about 22 different artists covered throughout the whole set.
Wow, it really is quite something, isn't it? It really must be quite an evening. I'm sure once you walk off stage at the end of that, I bet you're ready for a rest.
Well, and a quick beer as well.
Yes.
But, and then ready to sort of get on the road and do it all again the following night, wherever it takes us.
Okay, well, Damian, thanks for taking time out to talk to us on Preston FM.
Okay, thanks. It's been a pleasure.
Okay, see you. Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.